Today, I'll show you a Greece that's impossible to see from the shore. 7 days, 7 islands, and our floating home for the week, a comfortable catamaran. We'll sail the Ionian Sea from Lefkada to Kefalonia. Explore the secret homeland of Odysseus and find wild coves where it'll be just us and the turquoise water. I'll tell you how much it costs, what life on the water is like, and why, after a trip like this, you'll never want to stay in a regular hotel again. Well, let's set sail, starting our dream route. Our journey began in Lefkada. It's probably the most convenient island to start from in the Ionian Sea. Its main feature is a floating bridge that connects the island to mainland Greece. So you don't have to wait for a ferry, just cross the strait and you're there. We drove from Athens, where we had flown in from Rome. We've been living in Italy for 16 years and are used to long road trips. But for those who don't want to spend half a day driving, there's a life hack. Preveza Airport is very close to the island. We just couldn't make the flight dates work, but I highly recommend checking out this option. Lefkada Marina is something incredible. A huge port with hundreds, if not thousands, of yachts and catamarans. Life is really buzzing here. But keep in mind an important detail. In Greece, as in the rest of Europe, boats are rented strictly from Saturday to Saturday, and you can only check in after lunch, usually around 5 in the afternoon. The crew needs this time to prepare the boat after the previous tourists. So on Saturday, you take over your floating home and buy groceries. And on Sunday morning, you're already heading out for adventure. We went on this trip as a whole family. Me, Lena, my husband Kostya, and our kids Vanya, Danya, and Aurora. For us, this was the first experience of this kind. Just recently, Kostya got his boating license and dreamed of renting a catamaran. And now the dream has come true. We chose a catamaran over a regular sailing yacht. And if you're traveling with kids, believe me, it's the best option. First, the space. Our catamaran is a real floating house. Upstairs, under the canopy, is a large dining area where we spent almost all our time. Inside is a bright salon with a full kitchen, stove, sink, and even a coffee machine. Morning coffee with a sea view is a special kind of pleasure. Second, stability. Unlike a yacht, a catamaran barely heels. This means the kids can safely move around the deck, and your glass of wine on the table will be completely safe. The living area is mirrored, 2 cabins in each hull, and a bathroom. Kostya, Aurora, and I took one large cabin. And the boys took the second. We had 2 smaller cabins left over. We invited our skipper into one of them. Usually they sleep in special compartments at the very bow, but we decided he'd be much more comfortable in a proper room. And we turned the second free cabin into a walk-in closet, putting all our luggage there. And of course, the main feature of the catamaran is the nets at the bow. It's the perfect place to sunbathe and just watch the water rushing right beneath you. A view you can never get tired of. Initially, Kostya wanted to skipper the boat himself, but in the end we decided to hire a professional skipper, and it was the best decision of our vacation. Handling such a beast alone is practically impossible. You need at least 2 people for docking, so one is at the helm and the other works the lines. By the way, our skipper came to us specifically from Romania. We thought the charter company would just give us a local. But it turned out things work differently. There are special aggregator sites where boat owners post jobs, and skippers from all over Europe choose the routes they're interested in. So our Romanian captain became a full member of our family for the week. Our first crossing was short. We set course for the neighboring island of Meganisi, heading to Porto Spilia Bay, and it was the perfect start. You know, there are places that seem made specifically for people traveling by boat. In Porto Spilia, it feels like land tourists simply don't exist. There are no big hotels, just a cozy beach with incredibly clear water and a restaurant right on the shore. We moored at the pontoon of a local restaurant. This is a very convenient system in Greece. You can dock for free if you have dinner or lunch at the establishment. The evening was incredibly atmospheric. You sit at a table with the sea spray reaching you. Look at your catamaran and realize the adventure has begun. The kids immediately opened the swimming season. The water here is so clear that the boats look like they're floating in the air. This was our first night on the water after Lefkada, under the quiet splash of the waves and an endless starry sky. Waking up in Porto Spilia, jumping into the sea at sunrise and having breakfast on deck with this amazing view is exactly why you should rent a catamaran. But a legend was waiting for us ahead. On the second day, we set off for Ithaca. This is the very island Odysseus spent 10 years trying to return to after the Trojan War. And when you enter the Bay of Bati, you understand why he was so eager to get home. The town is very picturesque. Colorful houses with red roofs are scattered across the hillsides like an amphitheater. Here, we moored right at the town waterfront, opposite the statue of Odysseus. And that's the whole beauty of Ithaca. You step off the boat and find yourself right in the center of life. Narrow streets, little shops, and that signature Greek slow pace that people travel to the end of the world for. On the third day, our catamaran set course for Kefalonia. This is the largest and probably the most diverse island on our route. If Ithaca is about coziness and legends, Kefalonia is about scale. On Kefalonia, we entered the port of the town of Sami. Actually, many people go from here to see the famous caves. But we decided to have a day of absolute relaxation and not rush anywhere. In Sami, we moored in the most convenient spot, right opposite a row of waterfront restaurants. There's a special kind of chic to the yachting life. You step off the gangway and 3 seconds later, you're sitting at a table. But the real gem of Kefalonia for all sailors is Fiskardo. It's called the Greek Saint-Tropez. And that's the absolute truth. It's the only town on the island that was barely touched by the 1953 earthquake. That's why all the old Venetian architecture is still here, with colorful houses covered in flowers, boutiques, and the most glamorous yachts from all over the world. Finding a spot to dock here during peak season is quite a challenge, but it's totally worth it. In the evening, Fiskardo turns into one big movie set about the high life. We just strolled along the promenade, ate ice cream, and soaked in this festive atmosphere. The final stop of our sea voyage was Syvota. This is actually on the island of Lefkada itself. It's a tiny, incredibly cozy bay with a few charming restaurants. We spent our last night of free sailing here, enjoying the peace and quiet before heading back to civilization. And here's an important technical point for all future captains. According to the charter rules, you have to return the boat to its home port in Lefkada by Friday evening. So the route actually lasts 6 days. You need to be in the marina by sunset on Friday so the technical team can inspect the boat. You spend the night on board while docked in the port, and on Saturday morning, usually by 9 o'clock, you leave your floating home. But you know, if we had just gone from port to port, we would have only seen half the beauty. The most valuable thing about a catamaran is what happens in between the towns. During the crossings, we pop into wild coves and caves hidden in the cliffs that you just can't see from the shore. There are no beach clubs or noise here, just us and the incredible water, which looks like it's lit up from the inside. Believe me, when you have a view like this, and the catamaran is gently rocking on the mirror-like water, that's the real Greek dolce vita, the kind of feeling that makes it worth taking the risk and heading out to the open sea at least once. And now, the most useful part for those who've already started packing their bags. If you book a 38 to 42-foot catamaran a few months in advance, expect to pay 5,000 to 7,000 euros a week. But here's a life hack. If you book at the last minute, a month or even less before, you can find special offers with 30 or even 50% discounts. But you have to look for them. We booked on the Boat Around website, though there are other aggregators too. Be sure to add these to the cost of the boat itself. A skipper is about 200 euros a day. The captain's services cost us 1,300 euros for the week. Final cleaning is a mandatory fee. For us, it was 330 euros. Extra options. We ordered a safety net around the perimeter for Aurora's safety, 200 euros, and an outboard motor for the dinghy, 75 euros, though we ended up not even using it. You can also rent paddleboards and fishing rods. A very important detail about money. Just like with a car rental, they will block a security deposit on your card. And it's a significant amount. For us, it was 3,000 euros. Keep in mind that most cards have a daily transaction limit, which is often lower than this amount. So, check your bank settings in advance. To avoid risking this deposit, I highly recommend getting insurance, either online beforehand or directly at the agency when you pick up the boat. And finally, a nice bonus: mooring fees. Unlike in other European countries, they are very cheap in Greece. On average, a night in port costs 15 to 20 euros, and this price already includes water and electricity, though they aren't available everywhere. And in places like Porto, Spilia, mooring was actually free, provided we had lunch or dinner at their restaurant. You have to admit, that's a very nice service. And the last thing, fuel. We filled up the tanks when we returned to Lefkada, and for all 6 days of active sailing, we paid only 220 euros. And that's with us frequently using the generator for electricity, and most importantly, for the air conditioning. Oh right, I almost forgot a vital piece of advice. If you, like us, are going sailing in the middle of summer, for us it was late July, make sure to get a catamaran with air conditioning. To be honest, we didn't even pay attention to this when booking, but we got incredibly lucky. We had it. Many boats don't have air conditioning. But believe me, in the Greek heat, especially when you're docked in a port with no sea breeze, surviving without it would be very hard. The lack of cool air in the cabins can easily ruin your entire vacation. So definitely check this point when booking. You know, if you add up all the numbers I just mentioned, plus flights and car rental, the trip turns out to be quite expensive. But when you see those incredible sunsets in the open sea, when your kids wake up to the sound of the waves and feed the fish right out of their hands, you realize this experience is worth every single euro spent. No hotel in the world will give you that feeling of absolute freedom and bonding with your family. It wasn't just a vacation. It was a real adventure that we will definitely remember for the rest of our lives. And yes, we're already dreaming of doing it again. But I haven't told you everything yet. It's impossible to visit Greece and not fall in love with its food. And on the islands, it's extra special. In the next video, I'll share our delicious food map with you, show you the most atmospheric Greek tavernas, tell you how much dinner for our whole big family costs in different ports, and what you absolutely must try to get a true taste of the Ionian Sea. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the culinary sequel. Give our adventure a thumbs up and let us know in the comments if you dare to try this kind of vacation. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.